I never thought Thanksgiving could go this wrong. I mean, we've had arguments before. Little fights, yelling, dad storming out over football or mom snapping at him over some minor thing. But nothing like that day. Nothing that made me feel like my family could just fall apart in front of me. It started normal enough. Mom, Sophia, was running around the kitchen, her energy buzzing like always. The smell of roasted turkey and cinnamon pie filled the air, mixing with the faint aroma of Mom's perfume. Dad, Max Sr., was sitting in the living room, grumbling about some football game, his face all tight lines and tension. My younger brother and I were at the table, trying to act casual while scrolling through our phones, though the static tension in the room made it impossible to ignore. Mom had been acting strange all week, sneaking glances at her phone, smiling nervously, stepping out for mysterious errands. I didn't think much of it at first. Who notices that kind of stuff at 17? But then I saw it. A message on her phone, flashing across the screen. The name, Richard. My stomach twisted. I shouldn't have looked. I know that now. But curiosity took over. I tapped the screen and everything hit me at once. The messages, all of them, not subtle, not hidden. Mom was having an affair, and she was pregnant. My chest went tight, my mind blank. Mom, pregnant with someone else? Dad didn't have a clue. I froze. I didn't want to say anything. Didn't want to be the one to ruin this dinner, but secrets like this, they have a way of spilling out. And mine did. We were sitting down for dinner when it happened. Mom carried in the turkey, smiling, trying to act normal. Dad sat at the head of the table, already scowling at the TV. I don't even remember what made me speak first, but the words slipped out. Mom, who's Richard? The room went silent. Plates clinked against the table. Mom's hand froze mid-pass of the mashed potatoes. Dad's head snapped up, eyes narrowing in a way I've learned to fear. My little brother looked confused, like he'd walked into the middle of a tornado. Mom's face turned pale, then red, panic flooding her expression. Max? It's not what you think, she started, but Dad wasn't having it. Not what I think, his voice cracked, trembling with barely contained rage. You're having an affair on me, Sophia? You're telling me this in front of the boys? My heart hammered. The air felt thick, almost solid, like you could choke on it. Plates rattled as Dad slammed a hand on the table. Mom reached for him, desperate, but he recoiled and pointed at her like she'd betrayed everything. My brother started crying, frightened, clutching at my leg. Mom scrambled for her phone, shaking, calling Richard. The moment the line connected, I heard him. The familiar voice from the messages, calm but tense, asking if she was okay. The doorbell rang, and before anyone could blink, Richard stepped in. No knocking, just forceful entrance, eyes locked on Dad. You okay? He asked Sophia softly while holding her stomach, but his gaze never left Max Sr. Dad's chest heaved, trembling with anger. He looked from Mom to Richard's, hand on Mom's stomach. The room felt like it was vibrating with tension. Don't you dare touch her, Dad said through gritted teeth. There was a calm before the storm, the kind where you just know everything's about to explode. And explode it did. It started with shouting, sharp and sudden. Dad's face twisted with rage. You're pregnant? He shouted, his voice shaking the room. Dad lunged, grabbing at Mom's arms. She screamed. Richard stepped forward to block him, and suddenly everything was chaos. Chairs scraped across the floor, dishes rattled, the smell of turkey mixed with sweat and fear. My little brother wailed, crying and begging someone to stop. I was frozen, heart hammering, hands trembling. I wanted to run in, do something, anything, but I was stuck, just watching it spiral out of control. Richard grabbed Mom's hand again. We're leaving, now! Dad's face twisted in disbelief and rage. You're not taking her anywhere. That's when it got real. Dad shoved Richard hard. Richard stumbled back, and that's when the punches started flying. Plates and glasses toppled, shattering on the floor. Mom screamed between them, frantic, pulling at both men. My younger brother and I were pressed against each other, terrified, watching our parents explode in front of us. The fight didn't last long, but it felt like forever. Dad was a force of pure anger, giving Richard a good blow to the jaw. That's when Richard stumbled, tripped over the chair, and hit the floor with a heavy thud. He didn't move. For a second, I thought he'd disappeared from the chaos entirely. My heart was racing, and all I could do was stare. Dad stepped back, chest heaving, and for a moment, there was a silence so sharp it cut through the room. My little brother was still crying, Mom shaking, her hand over her mouth. Dad finally turned to the kitchen counter, poured himself a drink, and took a long swig. The kind of calm that comes after a storm. But you could still feel the heat in the room, the residue of the chaos. Mom looked like she wanted to cry and scream at the same time. She moved to Richard, shaking him lightly. "Richard, are you okay?" Richard groaned, still out cold, sprawled across the floor. He looked small, vulnerable, nothing like the confident man we'd seen through Mom's texts. The tension lingered, thick as fog. We sat there for a long time, not saying a word. The broken plates, ruined food, and shattered peace filled the room. My little brother clung to me, crying softly now, scared, confused. Mom sat on the floor next to Richard, her hair falling loose around her face, trembling. Dad didn't look at any of us. He just leaned back in his chair, drink in hand, staring at the ceiling like he was trying to breathe through the storm he'd just unleashed. I wanted to speak, to say something, but the words wouldn't come. I just stared, heart hammering, knowing that everything had changed, everything I'd believed about my family, about love, about trust. It was gone, shattered. Eventually, Mom helped Richard to a sitting position. He was groggy, disoriented, but alive. Dad didn't move. The room was still thick with tension, unspoken threats, and regret. My brother sniffled, holding on to me like the world had just ended. Mom's voice broke the silence. "Max, I didn't mean for any of this." Dad didn't respond. He just drank, staring straight ahead, silent. The chaos had ended, but the damage was done. Thanksgiving, a day that was supposed to mean family and gratitude, had become a battlefield, and we were all casualties in one way or another. I don't even remember how the rest of the day went. We ate cold turkey, silence stretching across the table, the weight of what had happened pressing down on all of us. My little brother kept asking questions I couldn't answer. I wanted to lie, pretend it hadn't happened, but that would be impossible. Eventually, Richard left, helped by Mom, still groggy from the fight. Dad didn't even acknowledge them. He just sat there, staring at his drink, shaking his hand slightly, muttering under his breath. I wanted to comfort Mom, tell her it would be okay, but I couldn't. I didn't know how. And now, I'm writing this because I don't know what else to do. Thanksgiving isn't supposed to be like this. Families aren't supposed to explode in front of each other, but ours did. And I never meant for it. I never wanted to expose my mom. I never wanted to ruin everything. But secrets like that have a way of bursting out, and once they do, there's no putting them back. I'll never forget the way my father looked that day, the rage and hurt in his eyes. I'll never forget Mom trembling next to Richard, or the way my little brother clung to me, crying and scared. The smell of broken dishes, the chaos in the air, the pounding of my heart. It's all burned into me. And the worst part? I don't even know what's coming next.